with these 7 little small habits, you will become the person that everyone wants to be friends with and that everyone loves being around. And let's begin. So number 1 is to be positive. Be that positive guy who's always finding something positive even out of the bad situations. You're the guy who always makes jokes. You're the guy who always finds something positive. Let's say you go to a concert with your, buddies. And the concert sucks. Everything goes wrong and everything sucks and nothing's good. But you're the guy who's positive. So you find out, that was such a great story that we'll be able to tell. You know what? It'll be amazing. In 2 years, we'll look back and we'll laugh at, the worst concert of our lives. What an amazing story, guys. Isn't this fun? Like, you're the guy who finds the positive out of every situation. And just being positive in general. You speak positive about others. You don't talk anything negative about others behind their backs or anything. You're the guy who's always finding the positive in even other people. Like there's that one guy who no one really likes and you're like, you know what, maybe he's having a bad day, let's give him a break. And everyone notices. You're the guy who finds the positive. You're the guy who doesn't just talk smack about others and so on. And people like that because then they know that you're like that to them as well. You are a respectable guy and all of a sudden people will start liking you a lot more. The second thing that you can do to become a person that people love being around is to not talk too much. Just don't talk too much. You know what? Sometimes it's fine to be silent. It's good to be silent. There's always that one guy. Everyone probably has met one person like this in their life where they're constantly yapping. Up, 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 up. And you're like, who is this guy? And why does he have to talk all the time? I don't care what they're saying. So speak only when you have something important to say. And then let others speak as well. Don't try to be the main guy who's just, holding a speech or a presentation to everyone in the room. Like, no, let others talk. A lot of the times it's better for you to be silent, think clearly on what am I actually gonna say, and make what you're gonna say positive, just like we talked about. And all of a sudden, the moment you speak, even though you say less words, it's more impactful. Because you actually thought about something smart to say. And when you say smart stuff, people notice. People are like, oh, this guy doesn't just yap all kinds of nonsense. He actually says smart and wise things and considers his words carefully. And that's a respectable feature of a human. And so people will like being around you because you don't just talk and you actually give space for other people to talk. And not only do you give them space to talk, you give them space to be silent. If you just, sometimes, people don't want to talk. Sometimes people just want to sit in silence. And if you're the guy who accepts that and you're like, you know what, oh, you don't want to talk, I'll be here. Let's just sit in silence. Sometimes that is the best option and people respect that because a lot of people are not capable of that. They always need some small talk, even though it's not necessary. And the third thing that you need to get, the third habit, is to actually listen. And now everyone's like, oh, I do listen to other people. Well, prove it. Don't just sit there and sit silently and say, I'm listening. And then when someone has finished what they're saying, you're like, oh, I listened. I'm a good person. No, prove to them that you listened by repeating what they said and asking further questions. So let's look at the concert example. Let's say some guy your friend goes to a concert and they come and think, oh, last weekend I was at this concert, it was so amazing. Instead of just listening and being like, oh, I listened, I'm a good person, prove to them that you listened. Oh, you went to a concert? What artists were there? You repeated what they said, which means that you listened to what they said, and you asked a further question to show interest. And now they're gonna like you. Who doesn't like to talk about their hobbies and their passions and what they did last weekend? Everyone likes talking about these things. And so when you actually listen, you ask questions and you prove that you've listened by, repeating parts of the things that they said and asking follow-up questions and, getting more details out of them. All of a sudden, people like being around you because you're the type of guy who they can actually talk to and who listens. You care about what others say and you actually listen. And not only do you listen, you prove to them that you've listened because no one can see the inside of your mind. So if you don't actually prove to them with your actions that you learned and you listened and you heard what they said, then they don't know if you listened or not. Because they don't know. You could be thinking in your head, I know every word that he said, but they don't see your mind. You have to speak or act in some way to prove that you actually listen to them. And you know what? It's a skill that many people lack. And the moment you master the skill of just listening to other people, just being like, I'm not gonna talk right now, I'm gonna listen to what they have to say. Like, that's a skill that most people don't have. And if you're one of the select few who have that, trust me, your rankings in the social status are going up. The stocks, you better invest now. That is going to the moon. And the fourth one that you need, the small habit, is notice changes in people. Notice changes in their mood. If someone's, acting a bit weird, maybe they don't talk as much as usual, ask them, oh, what happened? What's going on? Notice that, hey, something's up. Or if someone gets a haircut, even as simple as someone getting a haircut, you're like, oh, you know what? Oh, you got a nice haircut. Where'd you get that? Like, you notice the changes that people have in, how they dress. Like, oh, wow, that's a new shirt. Did you get that yesterday? Like, people are, wow, this guy notices. And once again, it gets you a lot of respect. A lot of people like that. Humans like when others notice things about us. Others notice how we act. Others notice the changes that we make. And others notice the mood that we are in. If someone's having a really good day and you're like, wow, what happened? Why are you so happy? Why are you smiling so much? Like, people like, oh, this guy notices that something's happened. And then they get an opportunity to talk about the most amazing experience of their life that made them have the best day and they're so smiling so much. Or, someone's a bit down. And you're like, hey, what happened? Why are you so down? If you need anything, just, hit me up. And once again, it's like, oh, this guy actually notices when I'm down and he cares enough to ask and to offer help and to be there. And once again, your stocks in the social marketplace going up. That is going to Jupiter now. Not just to the moon, but to Jupiter. So you better start investing in these habits. And the number 5 habit that you have to have is to give compliments, but make them meaningful. So many people give compliments that are like, boring. They're like, oh, you look nice. And it's like, well, thanks. That's good. And that means a lot. But if there is someone who actually looks really good, they might get that all the time. Like, you're the 10th person today who said you look good. And it's like, well, that doesn't really mean a lot. But the moment you say, wow, that shirt really fits your dress style, where'd you get that? You know what? Fantastic choice. Now all of a sudden, it's basically the same thing about you look good and you did something, but actually it's a better compliment because you said that, you chose that. They did an action to earn it. It's not just like you give them a compliment for the sake of a compliment. They actually did something to earn the compliment, which makes it that much bigger of a compliment, which makes it that much more meaningful because you're making them feel like, wow, I actually earned that. I actually did something to earn it. It's the same with like, you can call people like, wow, you're a really smart guy, which you probably are, you're watching this video, you're a really smart guy. So that, compliment, like, yeah, it's great. Who doesn't want that? But it's a lot better if someone says something first. They say something that, is somewhat, impressive. And then after they say that, now you have an opportunity to say, wow, you know what? I've never even thought about that in my life. That really opened up a whole new world of ideas to me. You're a really wise guy. Like all of a sudden, because they did something, they did an action before your compliment, and that, in a sense, gives you a good reason to give that compliment. It's just not out of nowhere. All of a sudden, the compliment means a lot more. It's a lot more personal, and they feel like they earned it. They earned the compliment with those actions, and therefore it is that much more meaningful. So give compliments to other people, because everyone loves getting compliments. There's not a single person on planet Earth who does not like compliments. But the more they feel like they actually earned it, and they actually did something to get it, instead of just, I'm existing and I got a compliment, the better, the more impactful that compliment will be, and the more that person will find you as the type of person they want to be around. And number 6, this is one of the most important ones. You'll definitely want to get this habit if you want others around you to find you interesting and to find you the type of guy who they want to be around. And this is literally, this can make or break any situation. And it's be interested in the people around you. You know, humans are the type of creatures where we love talking about ourselves. We love talking about our hobbies, our opinions, our viewpoints, our experiences, our life, our, this, that. We love talking about those things. And when you are interested in other people and you ask questions about them, you give them these opportunities to talk about themselves, and you listen to them, just like I said before, you should listen to them and ask follow-up questions. But when you give people opportunities to talk about themselves, they will love you. Because that's what all humans want to do. We want to talk about ourselves, me. And when you give someone an opportunity to talk about their passion, there's some guy who loves golfing, for example. They love to golf. And you ask, oh, wow, dude, so you love to golf? What's the best, golfing field or whatever, track that you played at? I don't know a lot about golf, so bear that in mind. But you can ask them, like, oh, I don't know a lot about golf. Can you, teach me the basics of golf? And bro, they will love you, because that's the opportunity they've been waiting for their whole lives. They've been studying golf. It's like Einstein with physics. They've been studying it for decades, and finally they get an opportunity to spill all the information in their head to you, and they get to finally talk and say, yeah, in golf you have to do this, and this is the correct posture, and this is how you swing correctly, and then you have to do this and that, and then you have to track the wind currents, and then I have this machine that I use to teleport the ball into the hole, and then I get a hole in one. They will love to talk about their passions. Because of course, who doesn't love talking about their passions? So when you give people opportunities to talk about their passions, and you show interest in them talking about their passions, they will love you. I guarantee that. This will never go wrong. Literally. It's impossible. It is simply human nature that they will love you if you let them talk about their passions and you actually show interest in what they're talking about. And of course, one of the best ways to find this and to make it natural is that you're actually interested. So if you enjoy going to the gym, find someone else who enjoys going to the gym, and now you can both talk about that, and you can both be interested in a natural way, and then you will have this connection that is like the moons and the stars aligning, and then everything will be like magic. Okay? So go and be interested in others and give them good opportunities to talk about their passions and themselves, and they will love you. And finally, the last one, the number 7, how to make people absolutely love being around you. And it's like the golden rule from the Bible. Do to others what you would want them to do to you. So if you would like that other people ask you about your hobbies, then ask them about their hobbies. If you would like that your friend bails you out at 3 a.m., then you know what? Bail them out at 3 a.m. Even if you're tired, even if you don't feel like going because you want to just sleep, still go and do it. Be the guy that you would want your friends to be for you, and the people around you would want to be for you. You know, if you're alone in a room and you're like, ah man, this is a new environment, maybe you go to a new school, maybe you go to a new workplace, and you don't know a lot of people yet. And you're like, you know what, I wish someone would come and introduce themselves and show me around. Well, if you see someone else that is new to the school, new to the, work environment or workplace that you're at, and they're probably wishing for the exact same thing. They probably want someone to go up to them and introduce themselves and then show them around. So go do that, because everything that you want, most likely other people want as well. So if you just look at what you would want others to behave like and how you would want them to act, if you just act like that and do that, most likely everyone will like you and love you, because you're doing the exact moves and actions and things which they want. And so do to others what you would want them doing to you. The golden rule from the Bible, absolutely wise, and wisdom from the Bible once more. Jesus hitting us up with the forever eternal knowledge. And so those are the 7 things you should absolutely learn. The small habits that will make people love you in all social interactions and environments. And so, as always, stay disciplined, chase your dreams, and have a fantastic day.